What's up, everyone? Welcome to Rob's house. A box arrived today. What is inside of this box? Oh man, we've got a hydrocarbon steering wheel for the Corvette. So last video you guys saw me put a bunch of carbon fiber interior pieces on the Mustang. We're still waiting on the steering wheel for that car, but I ordered a steering wheel for this car too. So my stock Alcantara steering wheel, I think the previous owner basically destroyed it by using leather cleaner on it. So if we look at it, see how like matted down the stock steering wheel looks? So anyway, I ordered this hydrocarbon steering wheel. The brand is called Handcrafted. It's a lot thicker and it's got better grip points over here for your hands, whether you drive 9 and 3 or whether you drive 10 and 2. So I thought that this would help spice the interior up of my car a little bit. It is still a flat bottom steering wheel, so it gives you the same kind of look that the stock steering wheel has, but it's a little bit thicker. It's got the red stitching and the red line on the top. I think that'll go well with my car, since my car is red, although the rest of my interior is just straight black and suede. I think that'll just make the stitching and the line kind of like pop more on the steering wheel, kind of draw your attention to the steering wheel a little more. It'll also match the Corvette logo on the airbag too. So only downside is it won't say Z06 down here anymore, but that's all right. All right, so before we get started, I'm just going to disconnect the battery, and then I'll walk you through how to remove the stock steering wheel, and then we're gonna transfer everything over to the new steering wheel and reinstall it. All right, guys, I disconnected the battery in the back. Reason being is we're going to now remove the steering wheel, and in order to do that, in order to get to the bolt that actually holds the steering wheel on, we have to remove the airbag first. So you definitely don't want that going off on you while you're doing this. There are holes on either side of the wheel. There's another hole identical to this on the other side of the wheel, and what we're going to do is basically get anything that'll fit in that hole that's somewhat long. Like, for example, I'll probably use an Allen screw, and there's a lever in there that you want to insert the Allen screw so that it pushes on the lever, and that releases either side. There's two clips basically holding on the airbag, so each side will release, and then we can pull the airbag off, disconnect the airbag, and then we can begin removing the steering wheel. All right, guys, we're in the car. We got the airbag popped out. Really simple. We're just going to see these two plugs. We're just going to lift up on these orange tabs and kind of pull them out, and we're also going to unplug this plug on the left hand side so we can fully remove the airbag. All right, guys, next order of business, we're going to take the steering wheel cover off. This is just held on by clips, so we're just going to kind of reach behind it and pull back. There are some plugs on each side that we're going to have to unplug, so we're going to do that. We're going to unplug those two. Then we're also going to take this plug off, which is just simply pushing up on the tab that my finger is against right now and pulling outward. I need both hands to do these things, so I'm just I'll walk you guys through it each step of the way, but I'm gonna have to put the camera down each time. All right, guys, by the way, I apologize for the noise in the background. It's my fan over here. It's very, very hot out, so you guys are just gonna have to deal with that noise. All right, so I got the steering wheel cover off. There's a plug on each side. Like I said, I also took this main plug off. Now we actually have to undo this bolt. So this is a T50 Torx, and it's torqued to about 22 or 23 pound-feet. So I'm gonna use my impact wrench to get that off. And then when we put it back on, we have to make sure that we torque it back to spec. So I'm gonna put some Loctite on it and make sure to torque it back to about 22 or 23 pound-feet. Because we definitely don't want the wheel coming loose while we're driving. So especially if we're on a road like the Dragon. All right, guys, I got that bolt out. So there is some Loctite on it. It's over on the bench now, but it's definitely difficult to get off. The impact wrench took it right off. I would definitely recommend using an impact because it's on there pretty tight. Now we can pull the steering wheel off. Actually, we're just going to feed the wires through, pull the steering wheel off, and we'll move over to the bench. All right, guys, we got both of our wheels here. Now we're going to begin the process of transferring everything over. So it actually looks pretty simple. Basically, we got some Torx screws that hold on each of the hand controls on the sides here. The paddle shifters are held on by a Torx screw on each side. There's one there and one here. We're gonna have to unplug that so we can pull the paddle shifters out of the back and connect them. Then we'll just move the wiring harness over to the new steering wheel, and then we can kind of reverse everything and reinstall. So it actually looks pretty simple. The only tricky thing that I notice here that might not be immediately obvious is there's what looks like a zip tie in here that I'm not going to cut, because it actually is like a little clip in here. So I'm just gonna push that through so that I can pop it back into place, which is this hole over here on my new wheel. So it does look like everything's gonna fit properly. So I'm happy about that. I just want to make sure that I do this right and that I don't screw up all my wiring. I fed the, by the way, I fed the airbag wires. You feed them through here when you pull the wheel off. So we'll just feed those back through on the new wheel. And then all of the other electronics inside of the wheel connect to the car via this main plug. So we're just gonna transfer everything over to the new wheel, and then we'll do our reinstallation. It's pretty simple, like I said. Disconnect all the wires, undo the torque screws, install it on the other wheel, and then we can put it back in the car. All right, guys, we got everything transferred over to the new wheel. It was as easy as I thought it was, just undoing these Torx bits and kind of just moving the wiring harness over, plugging everything back in. Couple of like quick notes. The fitment's not perfect on this, on the sides. Like you can see some gaps here where the steering controls are. So I don't really care about that, but if you're like super attention to detail and for some reason are gonna look like behind your steering wheel, you'll see maybe some fitment issues, but I personally don't care. I think it looks great. Anyway, I'm gonna reinstall it in the car. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. I'm just gonna come back and show you guys the finished product. I'm gonna put some new Loctite on this bolt. Basically do everything in reverse order. I'm gonna reinstall that bolt, torque it to 23 pound-feet. I'm gonna reattach the cover and then reinstall the airbag with the 2 airbag connections, and then this plug also plugs into the back of the airbag. And then we'll be done, and I'll show you guys the finished product. So. All right, guys, I'm really happy with how this install came out. I think the wheel looks great in the car. I can't wait. I have a carbon dash on the way for this car. It's really gonna set the interior off, and I think the wheel is gonna complement it really well. So anyway, as usual, I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.